Welcome to Luna Today, another exciting show, bringing you all the things that you need to know, the things you should know.
And of course, we are always making sure that you're well informed when it comes to food, when it comes to the entertainment industry, what you can do for yourself in your own home, as well as some of those tips, tricks, and some trends you'd want to catch up on when it comes to fashion, beauty, and home improvement. We have that right here on Luna Today. My name is Mumba Yachi.
And my name is Steve. I've been going to the gym trying to get my body back into shape because I started getting a pot belly. So while we're on set, like getting ready for this show, Lombe said I had big breasts.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Now I'm feeling uncomfortable because you know how we talk about fashion. So I'm wearing this shirt because it's kind of hot, and the texture of the materials is pretty good for this type of weather. But
I think he's feeling
somebody should say I have breasts.
Maybe someone is feeling a little insecure because, I've been giving him a thumbs up about the changes that his body is making. The pot belly has become a little smaller, a little less jigglish, if that word even exists,
Yep.
I'm sorry, Steve, for making a comment about your body.
It's called body shaming because Makasa has been looking at me so well. Makasa looks at me awesomely. Thanks, Makasa.
I don't think you want to know who Makasa is, but on Luna Today, maybe Steve is a fan of Makasa, or he could be obsessed with Makasa, lest he sends the wrong message across the airwaves. But hey, on Makasa, Luna Today, we are going to be discussing what it means. Are you a fan or are you obsessed? Where do we draw the line? Especially that we have grown up in a society where we have people that we look up to, role models, public figures. They could be celebrities, entertainers, name it, from different sections of society. So when are you just a fan who's inspired by the work of this particular person you look up to?
I've got a few stories
and when
for you.
Are you obsessed?
I've got a few stories for you. I've been in the radio business and TV business, entertainment business for like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
There's a time when there was a lot of weirdness that happened to me. I'll let you know more about it.
Yeah, so do join us on Luna Today as we discuss being a fan or being obsessed. And right after that, we'll be getting into Emmy.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yep, and I'm hoping to convince Steve to join me for some pap or some shimmer today because he's not someone who enjoys it so much. He likes snacking and nibbling on food. He eats like 5 to 6 times a day, but he will eat in like small, big portions depending on what portion it is. And so do join us on Luna Today as I try to get Steve to join me for some pap.
I like it. I like Nshima. I like it a lot. But the fact that when you do your research, it's not the most nutritious meal that you can have.
Maybe depending on what type of
meal.
Yeah,
so we'll delve into that as well. What else is coming up after
right after that, we'll be getting into Digital Digest, where we'll be getting to, get into the world of tech, and Makasa will be letting us know what you need to know when you are about to purchase a second-hand electronic gadget. Not really a sample. Like these days, life has gotten better because there's even salaula now for electronic gadgets.
No, you see where the term isampo came from, right? It came from the fact that as teenagers, you reach a point where you feel, you need to measure up to a lot of things. So isampo became like it's a really bad street term because it was something that you sell, which you didn't buy. Usually your parents are the ones who bought it. So it's sample for your time. So I like the way it's been changed into business now. We have Facebook pages called Sample and Dola or Sample Shine.
Yeah.
And most of those you have to check whether they're stolen or not.
Or maybe if they actually exist, because I lost money once because I was trying to get or purchase something that somebody said was new.
Yeah, but it wasn't, right?
It didn't even exist.
It didn't exist.
It didn't exist, and I only found out after money was already sent. And my heart was crushed. But hey, we'll be learning more about that. And right after that, we'll be getting into DIY with Chilamo.
Yeah, and today she's doing the bow tie.
She's teaching men how to, look all suited up. And I mean, you might think these things are actually cheap, but they're not.
No, last time I bought a bow tie was about 430 kwacha, but I had been paid handsomely by the wedding that I was MC, so I didn't mind. But I would have rather gotten it for the price that Chilamo was going to let us know what it is when she does it herself on do-it-yourself for the bow tie.
And right after that, we'll be getting into GFG with Mayuya The Beautyprenuer, and this time she's taking us through to a hair journey. Have you ever seen women like with like the installations? I know you are a man and you're not really big on wigs and whatnot.
What's an installation?
But do you see that there are times now when a woman is wearing a wig, you will not know whether it's her hair or...
What I don't get, like, I'm sorry ladies, but Fidia, if Monica got to beginning Fidia, isn't that supposed to be like cut out? I see a lot of ladies that do that, and I'm like, okay, I just supposed to cut that out.
Okay, so now that I'm glad you're asking that question, because Mayuya is going to be answering all those questions as she runs us through a hair installation process, and also how you can keep it intact for like a week or even 2 weeks. Because sometimes someone will have a neat hair installation on the first day, 2 days, 3 days later, the hair looks like it has gone through a world war and it's already coming out, and Steve is asking, why didn't you cut that out?
I don't ask, I just make fun of you behind your back.
Like he's still asking right now and making fun of you. Yeah, and so do join us for GFG. But hey, do not touch that dial. Did I just say touch that dial? Yeah, maybe because I think you're using your phone or you're using your
whatever
gadget.
it is that you're doing, don't touch it.
Don't touch it, but do stay tuned as we will be getting into our in-depth discussion where we look at being a fan and being obsessed. Thank you so much for joining us today on Luna Today. We are discussing being a fan or being obsessed. One thing though, in 2016, when I was announced Drimz Zambia Season 4 winner, I started receiving marriage proposals.
Marriage proposals?
In my inbox, yes. And then I was like I was...
Overwhelmed?
Not really. And you see, this is something...
So looking at yourself, okay, but
No, like I was looking fire though. I was looking fly. You know, I had lived in a hotel for like 6 weeks and whatnot. You know, the body had, you know, been... Now let's talk about
like coming from the ghetto to like nice places.
It wasn't... I didn't come from the ghetto. I came from a very nice township called Pamozi, yeah. And so... I was quite naive, number one, and number two, I found it awkward, so I did not know how to respond. Instead, I just left it. Like I'd open the message and someone says, "Are you ready for marriage?" And I'm like, okay, I don't know. You're number one, I don't know where you're from, and the first thing you're doing is looking for marriage.
And I always say this to a lot of people. I mean, the more exposure you get, the more attention you get.
That's true.
It's not like, you know, you're the best looking person in the world, or you have the best backside, or you have the best breasts, like I love best code, whatever I have. It's because you are in someone's face so often that they really want to be part of your life.
And something that you told me actually when I joined radio, when I interned as a radio broadcaster, in 2015, I should believe. And Steve once told me to say, you will be in people's ears a lot. They will love your voice. They will love how you say certain things, but that doesn't mean they love you. And so be careful when people come after you. And so I made sure not to really go public with work and whatnot. But a few years later, you meet people and they want to hang out with you. Like, I love you. I wish I could, you know. And some would even say, oh, you're my mentor, you're my inspiration. And some socialites in Zambia haven't taken it lightly, because when they do something that the people that believe you know, are inspired by them do, like they would just go, don't do this, and they will respond like, hey, I'm not supposed to be your role model. But then that is where
I don't like that whole
deeper.
I'm not supposed to be a role model or whatever. It's very important. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that you know, have like million followers on their pages, and sometimes I say, you know what, there's one time my daughter let me just tell the damn story.
Tell it. I'm like,
you know, Mutani Mwanza and I did a breakfast show earlier on in our careers, and we did it for like 4 years. And my daughter really knew her, like her and her son and everything, and her nephew and everything. We used to go to the house all the time. So after a few years, Mutani Mwanza obviously blew up and all these things. So when my daughter started, when she was getting on a smartphone, she was like, Dad, you know your friend Mutani Mwanza is rich now? What about you? Like, why don't
I'm sorry, that's not supposed to be funny.
I was like, why don't buy? So I was like, don't believe everything that you see. That's what I told her. Don't believe everything that you see. So she's like, what do you mean? So I had to have a conversation. And I had to have a conversation like, you know, not everything you see on social media is true. I mean, you have to, the pros and cons. So I was thinking that, you know what, if my daughter can be that swayed, especially that she's grown up in the media industry with me as her father, what about someone who's not?
Exactly.
Who doesn't have someone to give them an ear and say, okay, guys, all this stuff is made up for your attention. And
that's the same thing I get from my young cousins. When they watch a music video, they're like, oh my gosh, you look like a princess. Auntie Lombe now has so much money. I'm like, guys, I just went and bought a nice dress because the video had to look nice.
Yeah.
And now that now brings me to this. People get attached to who you are based on what they consume from you.
Yeah, from you.
It could be your music, it could be your acting career, it could be your personality because you're in the public eye. Yeah. Michael Jackson, for example, is one of those that was, you know.
I gotta tell you, like, I grew up with Michael Jackson. Like, I think when I was born.
Same neighborhood.
Yeah, I had a cousin one.
I grew up with Michael Jackson.
I grew up on Michael Jackson.
Listening to Michael Jackson.
On Michael Jackson. When my parents were big lovers of music, and that time there was Off the Wall that came out in 1978. So when I was born, I found that there was this new album called Thriller. So
I was about to talk about Thriller because
Thriller up to today is the highest selling album of all time, sold over 64 million copies all across the world. So I grew up with that, with the Thriller. I grew up with all these other things. So Michael Jackson sort of becoming like part of our household. Yeah. So every time, so my father saw that we were getting interested in him. So he started buying the albums every time we travel out of the country. He would buy, like, he bought the Bad album. Remember the Bad album? We put it, and it was a vinyl, put it on the record player, we started listening to it. Then when we went to CDs, about 1989, somewhere there, in 1991, 92, Michael Jackson took out the Dangerous album, and we listened to it, and there was this big sound system in the house, and we'd play it. So we kept on following his career. We became obsessed with him, to a point where even when we went to my Christian phases, you know, we all at a certain stage go through a Christian phase. I went through it. I think I was like one of you for like.
What do you mean? What do you mean you were one of us?
I was like a born again Christian for like 3 years.
And then you backslided or what?
No, I just became another type of Christian. So what happened is that. When I became that, all the Christians were saying, you can't listen to Michael Jackson because he's demonic. I was like, how is he demonic? You know, in the music videos, when all this symbolism and all this stuff that he has,
but you
and I was so upset.
And you could be upset because he was your idol.
Yeah, I love him.
He's somebody that you looked up to. And that still happens in any section of society. Anytime that you are drawn to somebody's music, somebody's act or personality, you want to become like them at some point.
Believe me, no one wants to dress like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson dressed like a clown. No one wants to look like Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson looked like a white woman. I loved his talent.
But do you remember that at some point Michael Jackson inspired a large fraction of wet look in Africa?
Yeah, Bengi.
I made a wet look because, and they even started having a name for it to say, it's just wet look. But when you look at the hairstyle Michael Jackson would have for the longest.
No, but that was what was happening. Even the most gangster rappers had what we call the Jerry curl. Yeah,
the Jerry
in Zambia
curl?
we used to call it the wet look, but internationally it was called the Jerry curl.
It's just that maybe Michael Jackson's was a little longer.
Yeah, I don't know. But if you check out your parents' photos from the 80s, everybody had wet look.
But then maybe if you're a parent, I would advise you to get a little worried if your child is maybe looking at being obsessed, because at some point I remember being such a Rihanna fan.
Rihanna fan?
Oh, I loved Rihanna at some point. Some people would even call me a Riri because of the big forehead.
Oh, yeah, big forehead.
Yeah. Hey, please,
I don't know why they didn't call you like, Kenneth Kaunda or something.
Why would they? Because I would listen to Rihanna a lot. I would sing like Rihanna.
Makasa Kaunda.
I would want to dress like Rihanna.
Yeah.
At some point, I'd try to do hairstyles like Rihanna, like the fringe.
Yeah,
the
but it's only normal because
But then
even when it comes to endorsement of certain products, people, marketers,
they use
they use that, so because we
but
are
the reason,
fans.
But the reason I'm saying as a parent should be worried because if we had that at that time, what even made me draw the line is my guardian told me, Rihanna panota wakamidisha.
Why?
Rihanna alikuwa tenda lama because at some point I started becoming sassy, I started becoming bougie. When I get home, I want to talk it. That's the thing. That's why I was told, Rihanna pano. Yeah. And what was worse is that in high school, I wanted to just start dancing like Rihanna, Ponderipation, and that's the thing. I lost track of school like I wasn't.
Really? It was that deep?
It was that deep.
I've never thought of you as a Rihanna fan. I was thinking like Rebecca Malope.
No, and the thing is, we actually even created a whole dance group.
Called the Rihanna
No.
buddies.
We would, because I loved Rihanna. A friend of mine was like a beehive. She loved Beyonce. Then another one liked Missy Elliott and whatnot. And so like Missy would do the gangster dances. The Beyonce beehive would do like the sexy dances. The Riri would do like the fun dances and so we came together and created a dance group. And
I was old then.
Yeah.
When all this was
so, but
happening.
then you see, it affected how I performed in school. I was
really,
such that when I look at my grade 12 results now, I'm not happy.
So you blame Rihanna?
No.
Rihanna, if you're watching this, you're the reason why she got 6 points instead of 5.
But listen to where I'm getting at. If your parents don't draw the line, like my parents drew the line after my grade 12 results. They drew the line. They said, you're getting back to school. No more phones, no more this, no more that.
So what would you call that? Were you a fan?
I
or were you
was obsessed because when you're a fan, you draw the line. You enjoy the music, you indulge the music, you indulge what they are giving you, but you don't lose yourself to become like them.
Just like the Michael Jackson story. When you asked me, I liked Michael Jackson, but I would never wear what he was wearing because I knew he was an entertainer. Yeah. And I was drawn to his talent. His production on his CDs were like just crazy. Every time you'd hear, you'd watch a music video, it was the most expensive music video. So I like that risk-taking and talent, but never in God's own Ndola would you see me dressed like Michael Jackson, or better still, trying to dance like him.
Now imagine if your daughter is drawn to the WAP.
To the what?
The WAP.
What is the WAP? You see, I'm getting old now. You see, gray.
Cardi B?
Oh, what does WAP mean?
Well, we're going to move on because I'm not allowed to say.
What does WAP mean?
Our director will actually whisper.
But my daughter liked that song. And was one time she was...
You might want to listen to the lyrics of that song in depth because then it will give you an idea of what your children may be exposed to. But anyway, I digress yet again. But let's get back to our topic of discussion today. Are you a fan or obsessed? Because at some point I was a Mariah Carey fan, and when I was in a competition where I was asked to sing a Mariah Carey
song. You've been a fan of everybody.
Yeah, you see, but the beautiful thing about that time is that I had learned to draw the line. I learned to say, oh, okay, you can be inspired by how somebody sings, but you don't need to sing like them.
Yeah.
You don't need to sound like them. You don't need to, And so that helped me learn that you can be inspired.
Yeah, be inspired.
I did not feel like you are.
I see a lot of like even in music careers, you see a lot of people who start off mimicking somebody. One of the producers, I don't know if I can put him as a fan or he's obsessed. Tony Breezy is somebody that I've known for a few years, and I reached a point where I was asking Tony, you dress so well, you dress so well, you look so good, and the tattoos, and he was like, hey Steve, I love Chris Brown.
You don't say.
So he went to he has managed to get most of Chris Brown's tattoos.
You don't say.
Like the exact tattoo. So I looked
replicated,
at him
not at Nabapanga-chan.
When he loves the clothes, when Chris Brown comes out with clothes, he would look at the clothes and he would buy those clothes. He makes sure that he'll buy the clothes. So I started looking at him, I was like, oh, Chris Breezy,
Tony Breezy. Oh my God!
like, oh, okay, cool. I never saw him dance. He was producing music, was doing these things. So I was like, okay. Then next thing you know, he has a new tattoo because Sting has a new tattoo. So I watched it, check it out, his Facebook page. I was like, wow, is that?
Oh my God!
Are tattoos extreme for you to be a fan of someone and actually get?
Wow, we have
permanent...
had people that have gotten tattoos like recently.
No, but tattoos.
Mtale Mwanza's name and face was tattooed on somebody's body.
But tattoos are permanent.
They are permanent.
I mean, you
That's
can change your
true.
clothes if you want to dress like someone. Like, I don't see you with Rihanna's tattoo.
Nah.
So I started looking at him from a distance. Like, is this guy obsessed, or is he
a fan? You know, professionally, or let me just say, research has proven that at some point obsession becomes a mental disorder. That is where in the US you have seen fans try to, even they hate the person they love so much because they are obsessed. They want the person's life.
Most people, like John Lennon, he was a very big star for the Beatles, right? Mm-hmm. He was killed by an actual fan.
See?
Like, this fan got so it was so in love with John Lennon to a point where he thought he needed to be with John Lennon. And when John Lennon never
embraced him,
he thought he was being mean to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we even have the Eminem song, Stan. I remember Stan? Mm-hmm. Eminem wrote a song about a fan that he didn't meet. Because of little incidences that made them not meet, to a point where the fan thought it was a direct attack on them and their loyalty to him, so he decided to hurt himself and kill other people. And that was just make-believe. But what is a fan and what's being obsessed? I'll tell you a story, though. Like I said, I was doing radio, and there was this guy who always used to send text messages on radio. And it got to a point, because I was new in the field, started talking to him, having conversations, saying his name on radio, things like that. Next thing you know, he would come to the radio station to see us. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we would see him, and then he would think that we're buddies. Then we'd have to go back. The next thing, he was always now saying, iwe, like insults.
Yeah, because now he feels like he's part of your circle,
so even when you're on radio, you say, oh, today we're going to be at, we're coming. He would come there and be like, hey, Ashan, guys. Next thing you know, this guy found where I lived, because he started walking and then just asking people where I lived until he found my house. I just heard a knock around 7 in the morning, on my door, and there was this guy by the door, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" So he said, "I'm here to see you, man. I've come to see you, so we can hang out."
Ooh, that's spooky. Like, literally, I'm so.
We're not friends like that.
Yeah.
We're not friends where you can come to my. How do you even? I was like, nah, you have to go. Get out of here. And after that, the extreme hate he had for me.
Because you did not bring him close and you did not draw the line. And that is where obsession comes in. There's a movie that has been done called Obsessed, actually. If you watch it, it would tell you what levels of obsession bring about a trigger in someone's mind, and it ends up becoming a mental health condition because the person can end up being a danger to themselves or to society, because they lose their identity in trying to conform to the identity of their idol or the person that they are a fan of. Recently, Tito Jackson died.
And
he wasn't even as famous as James okay, let's talk about Michael Jackson. Let's talk about oh my gosh, I love him so much. He's an actor, Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson has been very famous, Tito Jackson was very famous, yes, but not really in our.
Let's put it in perspective.
Okay.
Tito Jackson was a group of the Jackson 5.
The Jackson 5, yes.
Which had all the brothers, and Tito was one of the brothers.
Yes.
To a point where, there's a lot of obsession for Michael Jackson, even up to now.
Yeah. And it overshadowed Tito. So some of us who did not grow up during the time of Jackson 5.
I have no idea who Tito Jackson is.
We have no idea who Tito is, but we
Tito
heard about him.
Jackson passed away, I think about 48 hours ago, right? A few days ago, from a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when he died, I didn't feel the same way I felt when Michael Jackson died. Because for Michael Jackson, I was like, Michael Jackson has died. I called my brother. Yeah, boy, you know what Michael Jackson now. I called my sister, Mom, don't think that Michael Jackson's dead. And then we sat there like, how can Michael Jackson die?
Yeah.
We're fans, and I shed a few tears. I can't lie.
Yeah, you did.
But Tito Jackson, when he died, I was like, oh, Tito Jackson died. That's sad. I mean, now it's the Jackson 3.
Yeah.
That's it. So it was really weird for me when I saw the next video we're about to play of Prince Frederick, Lee's employee, if you could catch him on his social media. He cried for the death of Tito Jackson. But the reason why we're playing this is because he cried for very weird reasons. Check this out.
I grew up in their households. When I was a kid, I always watched them. And he's dead. Michael Jackson's brother, Tito Jackson. It's very bad. I know most of you have never followed his music. I feel bad. He's gone. He's like, I don't know what to do. Tito Jackson was playing in Michael Jackson's as a guitarist, and he had his children, my brothers, the 3T. Now they have no father. TJ Jackson, Terrio Jackson, and Taj Jackson. Those are his 3 kids. They're my cousins.
All right, so that's Prince Frederick, Mr. Lee's employee, crying over the death of Tito. But one thing that caught me, I mean, obviously, Prince Frederick has been a Michael Jackson impersonator. You can see him in Pompey and Mac 44's videos. You can see him being invited to some shows to impersonate Michael Jackson in his moves. I don't think he's the best one at it, but you can see that even...
he tries. He does a fairly okay job. I
mean, I like his enthusiasm. I mean, and then when you check out what he's done with himself, like he tweezes his eyebrows. I'm not going to talk about how he looks because I mean that's him to do so, but you can see that it's been inspired by Michael Jackson. I thought this one really floored me because I felt like he actually believed that he was Michael Jackson's son, one of all, and his uncle actually died, and his cousins, which was a group called 3T, were actually mourning, and he decided, let me go live on social media and mourn with them. So this is a post that he put up. He said, help me, my uncle has died this morning. I received a call from Michael Jackson's family that my uncle Tito Jackson has died. Michael Jackson's brother, who happens to be my father too. What will I do now? Crying emojis, I am lost. And then before that, and then on the same comment section, he says, forgive me people, I know most of you think I'm a fool, but the real Zambian people who know this is serious and I am broken, I'll be broken forever. And
yeah, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow. And he posted a picture of Tito
Jackson, yeah.
And he actually wrote a caption saying, I have just lost an uncle, Tito Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother. He passed away this morning. To those who don't know him, you're too young or you haven't followed American music a lot. But the people who are in music knows it, or I feel heavy and bad because I grew up around them all my life. He's my uncle and he's gone now. I will never see him again. I was supposed to go to USA to meet him. Now I won't see him. I love you, Uncle Tito Jackson. Guys, okay guys.
Apa tu amna kwa tibitoa afeti.
I'm telling you right now, I look like I don't understand one's emotional state. Okay guys,
So, I mean, basically, is Prince Frederick, Mr. Lee's employee, a fan or is he obsessed? So we thought, let's talk to Mumba Yachi. Mumba Yachi, even though he doesn't say it out loud.
But you can see that there are elements of Michael Jackson in his music.
Yeah, I mean,
his compositions.
Yeah.
The weird outfits he wears, or let's just say the artistic style.
You can tell
that
like
he
he's
has
inspired.
taken. Yeah.
There's a time that I went to see a performance from Mumba Yachi, and he came out and he was still for like 5 minutes. Michael Jackson, I've seen, because I used to watch all his concerts,
yeah.
he used to come out and be still for like 5 minutes while the crowd goes crazy. When he did the same thing, so I interviewed him at some point and I asked him, before the end of the interview, I was like, do you like Michael Jackson? And he was like, I love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Inspired by Michael Jackson. So we talked to him today, and he was talking about obsession. Is he a fan of Michael Jackson too, or is he obsessed with Michael Jackson? And this is what he said.
Yeah, talking about being a fan or being obsessed with a certain artist. Yeah, when you are a fan, you just love the music. You love the music, that's it. But when you are obsessed, you start to get deeper into the artist, You want to know every details about the artist. Then that is obsession, You are dreaming about the artist. You are thinking about the artist. You want to know what do they like. What do they like, Every little details. But sometimes I feel like me, when it comes to Michael Jackson, I'm obsessed.
I don't know, man. I'm a Jay-Z fan, but you don't see me trying to date a Beyonce.
Or maybe having some dreadlocks like Jay-Z.
Oh, man.
But hey, this is one thing though. Mumba Yachi says he's obsessed, and I'm wondering. I'm like, could it be?
I don't know.
That's answering too many questions. But hey, okay, for Mumba, because remember we haven't seen him cry on social media, or I take care of children.
But he was very surprised when I told him Tito Jackson had died. He was like, well, Tito Jackson has died.
Oh my gosh.
So who should you be obsessed with, and when should you know you're obsessed, and when should you know that your obsession has become
and it
giving
can be
a detriment to yourself?
Yeah,
it's become unhealthy.
Because when you watch Mr. Lee's video, he cries and he says, I grew up in their household.
That's a lot of delusion there.
Exactly, because your obsession might make you delusional. Then it becomes right there is where you draw the line. If you have somebody in the house who believes they grew up with Toni Braxton, I love Toni Braxton at some point as well, and they feel like they're part of the Jackson sisters as well, the Braxton sisters, and they're part of their reality TV show.
You can just talk about gospel artists, it's fine if you don't know these ones that you're talking about.
I do know them.
Talk about Don Moen and his five kids.
What you mean?
Okay.
I didn't even know Don Moen had 5 kids.
I was just lying. He doesn't. I don't know how many he
Exactly,
has.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
But what I mean is when someone in the family gets to a place where they feel like they're part of a reality TV show. One time we had someone in class who thought she was Kim Kardashian. Like, how? You just watch them on TV, and how do you now feel like you are a Kardashian?
Yeah, so if you have taken the fact that your fantasies are becoming like part of your truth,
and they're becoming a reality.
then there's a problem. And I feel like Prince Frederick, Mr. Lee's employee, has made the fact that he's obsessed with Michael Jackson be part of his reality. And he has gone to prison once because of some of the things that he said on his Facebook page. And I feel, don't follow everybody that's on Facebook or is getting a lot of numbers, because mental health is also on social media. It's not just in your household or other people. People with mental health can also open a Facebook page and start it, and you'll be making fun of it and enjoying it, but I think people need some help. But hey, thanks for joining us on Luna today. Put it in the comment section. Let us know what you think about being a fan and being obsessed.
I just hope no one is obsessed with me. Trust me, you don't want to be obsessed with me. Just be a fan of Steve. He's the best person to be a fan of.
Let's get some food, yeah? It's about that time.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up is Imidile. I'll be eating some of Lombe's bland food.
Welcome to Lunchtime, Imelile, and you are still with us on Luna today. I'm in the kitchen, and today I'm hosting Steve Sosik just for a simple meal. The last time Steve hosted us, he was sashillering meals. Like, guys, who does that? Black pepper, peanut butter, na mayonnaise plus ngabali vika mumri minsi. Yeah.
You know what I always say about things like that. You are a typical Zambian, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I think our palates haven't traversed a lot of foods
or flavors,
and there's a lot of things and flavors as well. There's a lot of things that we should eat that we don't eat. There's starvation in Shan, but you have crocodiles everywhere. I know we can't eat crocodiles. You know why? Because how many crocodiles eat people? Very few. We could probably say like 1% of crocodiles in Zambia eat human beings, and when they do it, it's reported on what? On radio or TV, you hear about it. But how many times have you heard of a crocodile eating a gazelle or an impala or what?
But there's no reports about that because it's supposed to be normal.
Yeah, but it's delicious. Look at the things that they eat that are delicious. So we don't eat hippos as often as we should. We don't eat them as. When's the last time you had hippo?
I've never eaten a hippo, but I know people do eat hippos.
Yes, but do you know that when hippos have to be culled because they get so much in our country that there's a point when they have to kill them so that they stop that population. Imagine how many people we could feed if we just said, okay guys, let's eat hippos. What are the things that we don't eat that we have a lot of?
Well, I'm looking at my Nshima right now because I'm a Nshima lover.
Yeah.
Trust me, when I talk about things that we should eat that we don't eat, it's the fact that I would love my Nshima to always be cassava meal or millet meal.
Yeah?
Yeah. Please join me as it's just a simple meal, guys. I'm hosting him for some shima, rape, and mince bowl.
You like simple things.
Yeah, I like simple things.
But one thing I gotta tell you is that I like meatballs, but I do not like rape. Do you know why I don't like rape?
Why don't you like rape?
Because I was doing a health show once, and I found out that rape is
That's what I knew. You needed some water to wash.
Kadai. You need to wash your hands thoroughly, and most preferably, if this meal was prepared by like a true Zambian woman, it would be warm water.
So what are you saying about my water?
You are Congo.
It's summer, he still wants to wash hands in warm water.
Je m'appelle Stéphane, tu t'appelles?
I will pretend he did not say that. But hey, when we talk about lunch, this is like a typical lunch for a Zambian home.
Yeah.
And sometimes the relish could be replaced with like some kasepa, imintesa, some beef, some chicken, name it, fish, name it. But the basic meal is shima, veggies, and akakusasula, Yeah, but now when we look at the meal, for me, I'll tell you the truth. I've always wanted to have like cassava meal, if possible, almost every other day, if possible, every day.
What tribe are you?
I'm Bemba.
So what is the Bemba foods to eat?
Usually, when it comes to shima, millet meal, amale, wali wa amale.
So why don't you take it to your household? Why don't you do that here in the urban settings that we're in?
Well, the thing is, it's there, but I did not get the skill of millet preparation. How it's done in the village is very different from how it's done here. I feel like the way it's done in the village maintains the it maintains the taste, because and I loved when I saw it at the Umtomboko traditional ceremony when they had a millet grinding competition. Of course, here people can take it to the what's the chigayo in English? Chigayo.
It's a hammer meal.
Oh yeah, they take it to the hammer mill. Sorry, the Bemba in me just slid in that Bemba. Like, take it to chigayo. Like, you can take it to the hammer mill, have it, bagaya, and then you eat it. But then I feel like the hammer mill sometimes over Gaia things, if that even exists.
Oh, like it's too fine for you?
I think they make these meals too fine when they go through the hammer mills.
Yeah, and those are some...
Because that's one of the reasons why this shima or the white maize meal is sometimes spoken of as one that's not very healthy.
It is not, because like a lot of people will tell you, like even like nutritionists will tell you that everything that is nutritious has been taken out of this breakfast meal that we have, and what we need to be having is roller meal, which still remains a bit authentic. But even when you think about, you know, how we love this, I did a small research, which you could probably do yourself as well, about why Zambians love mealie meal. And have you heard this? That
And you know, when people visit and you give them rice, they will say that rice.
yeah, pakanadia kawad. Do you know why?
I don't know. Maybe you tell me. I thought maybe it's because of it's an inborn thing and whatnot.
No, it's not really. This takes longer to digest, and it's more filling, but not necessarily nutritious. So the fact that a lot of Zambians cannot afford a meal, they would rather be full than get hungry faster. Do you understand? No, in terms of the quality of the taste of the food is secondary. Being full is first. I was talking to my my maid at home. I don't know, maid. Someone told me maid is a
house help, please.
Derogatory
House
term,
help.
but it's not a bad term.
House help. Just say it. House help.
Someone who cooks at my house, all right? And she usually does a lot of weird stuff that I don't like with the food. So I was asking her, so this food doesn't taste nice. She was like, if when the kwabati doesn't taste nice. If as long as now and I found that
there I'm not the chikulumwadia.
and I asked her, you know, because I was doing my research, I was like, I asked her, chikulumwadia, what does that mean? It says as long as you're full. So I told her that my income should, the amount of work that I do, or amount of money that I get, should allow me to have a tasty meal. So if you're in this household and you're thinking that you're going to cook for me because you're working at the wrong place. I want to enjoy my food. I want the type of spices that I want. I want the type of cooking, because she'll deep fry everything.
Okay, there, I do agree with you. When it comes to tasty food, food has to be tasty.
Yeah.
That's why I'm able to tell when food is too spicy, or food is, or the food I'm eating is not, I'm not enjoying the food that I'm eating. Why? Because I know what should sound good. I still want to enjoy the food as I eat it. So actually, when you speak about vegetables, I'm a Kalembula girl. I'm a Katapa girl. I am a Chimpapila girl. Literally, you'll find me growing Chimpapila at home, because those are some of like the most nutritious vegetables. If you want to it's a weed. But it's healthy. It's a healthy vegetable. And so maybe those are some of the things that we need to understand, to say it's like we've been indoctrinated with all these things that look appealing to the human eye.
Do you think that
but are not healthy?
Poverty makes you compromise your taste buds?
Not really. I won't call it poverty, because some of the vegetables that I've mentioned are things we grow in our backyards.
Yeah, but
like literally, when you look at the Zambian lifestyle, every person, garden, they are able to grow their own vegetables in their backyards.
Yeah.
If you talk about cassava meal, they have cassava leaves in their homes. They are able to grow cassava. If you talk about sweet potatoes leaves and sweet potatoes, those are things we're able to grow in our backyards. But then, I don't think someone will like me for saying this, someone has to make money from their product, so they will make their product look appealing, so that you look like that is what you should eat, because it is associated with a certain level of class or shiny.
Let me tell you. I don't know if I agree with you or disagree with you, but I mean, in history, you know the slave trade.
Yes.
The slave trade. A lot of people, the countries that are paying for the slave trade were countries like
America, South America.
No. America was supplying stuff. Was supplying cotton to Europe. So Europe wanted that cotton. So the only way that America would get that cotton to them in time was to get slaves. So America did that. It's the same thing that happened with India and spices. Yeah. There's a point where spices were so important, right? Because the countries had become so more sophisticated, and they were traveling the world and finding these spices to be very nice. So the more the spice, the more money they were making, the more spice they were buying. So I feel like the more you become sophisticated as a nation, I don't think we just reached the sophistication as a nation for us to change our palates and taste other things. I'm trying to explain. So like when you taste English food, it's probably the most bland food you can taste. But they used to get spices from India.
Yeah.
And all these countries started getting spices from India. India was spice was so expensive that everybody else wanted them because they had reached a point where we've done everything. Now it's time for us to eat, so you become posh. So that's where I feel like we need to do. Mwana ushenda atasha nina
Kunayo wali.
kunayo wali. So yeah, so even if the household has finances, if they haven't eaten anything else,
if they haven't explored, if they haven't had the time to,
they'll still eat the same
try out
kind of food.
other things. But then when you talk about our African and Shema, I will still go back to it because I feel like we don't exhaust our resources as much as we do. I'd encourage you one of these days, get your white millimil, and as you are tiakularing, add a bit of some cassava meal. It's going to add a certain texture to your shima, number one. Number two, it's going to give you a certain beautiful flavor. The only one other thing about cassava meal, when you cook it on its own, is that when you, it sometimes leaves you a little bloated, if not careful, because you only get to realize you're full when you drink water. And akafumoro makakosa katika bola mtu afya kwenda. But so you want to maybe start like that, add the cassava meal first to this original white meal, then transition to maybe having the full cassava meal once in a while. Alternatively, the roller meal that you spoke about.
Yeah.
Some people dread roller meal because they don't know.
My daughter said it was bitter.
But that's the thing, roller meal is not bitter unless you allow it to cook. You let it cook, and you know, roller meal can't be cooked like white or breakfast meal. You need to allow it to get ready. For breakfast meal, you can allow it to boil like 10 minutes and it's ready. But roller meal, sometimes it might need to boil for like 20 minutes or even 25 minutes before it is ready. Otherwise, you will have a running stomach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because it was not ready in good time.
I like the taste of roller meal. For me, it's different. And you know, one of the things that I think we've lost in some of our culture is the fact that this wasn't even our original food. We say this is a Zambian food, but this maize meal only came into our country, or maize came into this part of the region in the 1700s. Before that, yes, I mean, it came from South America from the 1700s. Before that, we were eating something else. What is that something else?
I think it's what
cassava.
we have, the cassava, the millet meal, the sorghum as well, wheat as well.
Yes,
wheat is something that we
So we decided to forego what we were eating and did this. And then now when it comes to when we kept on eating this food, we kept it a bit traditional, but we added this obviously.
Yeah.
Then when we reached where we changed regimes and became more about international things, we started eating a lot of things that have given us a lot of non-communicable diseases now. We started having our deep fried chicken, started forgoing our tutenembalala. We started becoming about...
We stopped like our biltongs, because we used to dry our meat.
Yeah,
and now if there's load shedding, you want to adapt. You want to get that skill from your grandfather if he's still alive.
Yeah,
to teach it to you.
So, I mean, think about what you're putting into yourself. Rape is not the best thing for you to put in yourself, but it's probably the most affordable.
It is, but hey, Steve, I feel bad because I'm hosting you and you're talking about rape not being...
Breakfast meal is not the most nutritious. Your kids might be having malnutrition because they're not getting enough nutrients. This is not giving them enough.
To have.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not eating this.
Yeah, well, he may not be a very good guest because he's literally shooting down all the food that I have cooked for him today. But the beautiful thing is that you and I have gotten to learn a thing or two about what healthy meals you can have and how you can improve your meal to make it more nutritious, because it's not just about filling up an empty stomach, but it is to make sure that your body has all the nutrients that it needs, from the proteins, the carbohydrates. You've got your, what else is that? You have your... okay.
I'm eating the papers that you gave me, this piece of paper.
Wow. he's calling the rape a piece of paper. Well, hey, do let us know what other nutritious meals you feel can be, incorporated included
into our
home.
non-nutritious meals that we eat every day.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Imilile. Even though I've been shut down by Steve, but the good thing is he will still have to.
I still eat because mom taught me well.
Yes.
Even if the neighbor's food is terrible, I still eat it.
You still eat it because on Imilile we don't waste food. Let's get into what's popping as Steve gets to talk to Drimz after he finishes his food because he's not going to do that interview on an empty stomach.
Okay, I think I need to do it now. We're out of here. Welcome to What's Poppin'. My name's Steve, aka So Sick. What's poppin' today? The Kwacha Music Awards were announced just a while back now, and everyone's talking about the Kwacha Music Awards. One of the artists that decided last year that, hey, I'm putting out of the Kwacha Awards is none other than Drimz. And this year, he got his nomination. Next thing you know, the posters are up, asking people to vote for him. What has changed? So we're going to be talking to Drimz, who's on our Zoom call today. He's at Ratsa and he's trying to get his fitness for his Skodo car. I don't know, man. Did he be like what the crew? You never know. Drimz, how you doing?
By the way, how are you, Steve? I'm all right. Obviously, from Kabwe Town. Yeah, last year I withdrew my nomination. And before we withdrew the nomination, we actually got in touch with Sun FM CEO, and I also remember calling you. We put up, our argument, and I actually said that the only reason why I was pulling out of, I was told that you could only get nominated 3 times running in that, provincial category, but then I got nominated for the 4th time. The other reason why I withdrew my nomination is because I felt like I was being boxed for a long time, just being tied to being a Central Province artist. That's what I felt like. An artist of national character like me, I felt like I don't need to be, in a provincial category year in, year out. I also need to give room to some of the, finest artists that Central Province has got to offer. And by the way, it's not just Kabwe. I think I have heard artists from Mukushi. I've heard top artists from Chibombo. I've heard from Kapiri as well. So I felt like being in that category was not giving an opportunity to other artists really to, to compete amongst themselves and, build that confidence in their, in their careers.
Okay, so something has been done right this year, but what is it? What are you happy about this time around?
Just to make it right, even when we withdrew, I withdrew the nomination last year, I still said we'll go ahead support the awards. I wasn't withdrawing from the awards. I was withdrawing my nomination. I wasn't withdrawing my support for the awards. I was withdrawing my nomination. Funny enough, about this year's nomination, I just got to see about my nomination through a WhatsApp group. So the past few years, I could receive an email, the certificate of nomination, where you get informed about your nomination and everything. Obviously, with the advent of technology, you get to see your nominations, WhatsApp groups, and one of my peers is the one that posted, they went ahead to make an artwork for the nomination to ask people to vote for me. We have accepted the nomination, and we would like, people actually vote for us, obviously, if they think that we are deserving in whatever category that we've been put in.
All right, I heard the subliminal there. WhatsApp group. Oh, someone didn't send you an email. No due diligence there, I guess. Well, you single Your single was a massive hit. You collaborated with another Kawi artist, J Max, even though Ndola snatched him for a bit, and now I think Lusaka has gotten him fully. You know, he's also been nominated. So, how's the love amongst Kawi artists? How's that going?
I'm super proud, super excited. I'm very happy for J Max. I've had a lot of conversations outside music with him, and to see him get over 5 nations now, over 5 nations, it's amazing. And I think the collaboration that we did with him on the single track is cannot go without mentioning that it also helped really to increase his commercial value out there. You mentioned about Kawi artists really. Noticed down here we love to work together. We go beyond music, because what we share as artists from here, you know, are shared stories. We have shared stories. We've got almost similar and common backgrounds. So it goes beyond just, you know, doing these collabos.
Okay, no latest collabos with Yo Maps. Why is that not happening? Biggest artist in the country.
It's unfortunate that really you ask a question in that manner. I would also ask you a question. What is when you effort?
Yeah, I know about the song Effort, and I know it was a big hit. Weddings love it. But it's an old song. I'm talking about latest collaborations. Why? And when's the last time you talked to Yo Maps?
What do you mean new collaborations? I'm first big artist that featured Joe Maps when he was still an upcoming artist. And the reason why I did that was to expose him. So to see him grow into the artist that he is today, obviously it gives me a lot of pride, a lot of joy, because I did my part. So we cannot have a conversation as to why I have not, you know, we don't have a new song now. There's so many artists in the country that I talk to on a daily basis, that I work with, you know, on different projects with different organizations, and we've never had songs together. Look, B-Flow is from Cabo. I don't have a song with B-Flow. Oh, I have one song with B-Flow. So it shouldn't be a conversation, really. It shouldn't be a conversation.
I mean, he's been nominated for several Kwacha Music Awards as well. Any encouraging words for him, maybe?
Look, I have Broken Hill Emmy as well, a guy that I'm also, working with, trying to push as well. He's been nominated. We could have a conversation around the guy that is still trying to find his way. Your Maps has already found his way, and for me, I would really appreciate if we could have conversations that seek, you know, to uplift people that we think have got the potential, and that us that have this opportunity, this platform, you know, that gives us the opportunity to speak to a lot of people, and we have a lot of numbers. Why don't we use that, you know, these platforms to expose other people as well? The same way we expose Your Maps, I think we could have a conversation around an artist that we know has got the potential, and we also expose them.
Speaking about exposure, Broken Hill Emmy recently exposed his buttocks in a new music video. Got a lot of attention for it. Was that some of your, mentorship? Was that some of your advice for him to show his backside?
No, fortunate really. And I wouldn't want to go so much on that, because obviously it's negative light. I like to talk about artists in a positive light, so I would let that one slide. I would let it.
You can't say, I mean, this wasn't, planned out. I mean, you said you do want to talk about Your Maps. We've let Your Maps go. You want to talk about Broken Hill Emmy. Broken Hill Emmy recently showed his buttocks in a music video. And I can't say it was an accident, because that was an edited music video. It had production crew, it had management, it had whatever it is that an artist comes out with. And when the finished product was out, his buttocks was still in there. Did you call him? Has he called you? What advice did you give him?
Okay, so like I mentioned, I love to talk about good light. Really, I got hold of that. Somebody sent that video to me when I was in Namibia, and my first reaction was like, wow, just wow. Like, he went to the extremes. I don't understand his motivation and his, his push to do that. Maybe if I have a conversation with him, I would be able really to give my personal opinion. But as it's really hard to judge somebody who you've not really, spoken and understood to do whatever they've done. But if you ask me on the side, that was a little bit extreme.
All right, on a more positive note, he's been nominated for Best Central Province Act for 2024. He seems to have gotten a lot of attention very fast. Do you think that maybe you should have shown your buttocks as well earlier, and you'd have gotten an earlier nomination?
The only thing extraordinary about me is the grace that God has given me. I don't need to start showing people, my privates and my unmentionables for me to attract attention. I think the grace that God has given me over is enough. And as I believe that everything happens in time. So you don't need to rush. For as long as God has appointed.
Okay. Every year, nominations come out and the debates rage on social media. One sort of nominations and which category it always comes up. Which genre is supposed to be in which category? Best hip hop, best what is the hip hop song? Do you think as these seasons, award seasons come up, people have learned a little bit more about what genre, which category their favorite music is supposed to be in, and what have you learned?
So what I have learned is that, yes, Zambians are beginning to understand music, even from a technical point. And also, what I understand is there's never going to be a time of an awards ceremony where it will just be quiet. It just doesn't happen in Zambia. I think for us that are connected to the world, through technology, we understand that every year and every time there's an award ceremony, be it in America or Nigeria or the UK, there will always be people that will issue strong opinions about how certain things are done. But it's all up to really the board in trying to improve the awards and the award ceremony, and because at the end of the day, we do these things for the people, and we want to make sure that a good number of people really are satisfied. We cannot impress and satisfy everybody, but we should try, obviously, to listen to their opinions, and if they are positive, incorporate. But to have an award ceremony where I don't think it can ever happen, Kwacha.
All right, after the Kwacha Music Awards, or maybe during the Kwacha Music Awards, and then on Monday when they were done, a lot of people, obviously being on stage is a great honor to be on a huge stage like that where the whole nation is watching. But other people trended for the fact that their live performances were a bit lackluster. One of the people who got the brunt of that is Dave. No, sorry, it wasn't Dave. Dave is not around. Blake, he got the bad end of that. And most people said that, live performances are really bad for some artists. Some artists blamed the engineers at the event, and some engineers blamed how artists never, maybe came for rehearsals or rehearsed enough. What do you think of last year's performances, and who would you blame?
I don't really want to place myself in a position where I begin to finger point. I think this should be collective effort. From the side of us, the artists, we need to start improving ourselves. And I'm always of the view that as artists, we don't need to be rehearsing when there's an event, coming up. It should now be a lifestyle. I love watching, artists from Congo every day, when I'm TikTok, and I'm inspired at how these guys have incorporated music in their personal lives. Like, for them, rehearsal does not come because they have an upcoming event. Rehearsal is part of their life. Rehearsal is basic. So it comes to live performances, we need to incorporate it, in our lifestyles. And when it comes such as the awards, honestly, we don't want artists exposed like that. And remember, I said I'm not blaming anybody. I think it is just right that we work collectively to improve, because we don't want to see what happened last year, repeat itself this year. So it's if one has to take the blame, for me, it is everybody to take the blame. If we win, we collectively win.
All right, so how comfortable are you with the fact that the nominations are done via radio stations? Radio stations submit the songs that they've been playing for the year starting from June to about, is it July or August? And, nominations come from there. I mean, some artists I've interviewed before, like Vincenzo, he wasn't comfortable with the fact that radio stations are given that much power for radio station awards. And he thought that maybe they should add streams from videos, how much streams from YouTube, and all these other things. What do you think about the criteria for nomination at the Kwacha Music Awards?
So to begin with, I have been so lucky to be part of the first edition of the Sun FM Kwacha Awards. Firstly, I won in that year, and I clearly understood what they said. These are radio-based. These are not awards who got the most views or who got the most shows or who got the best videos on TikTok. These are radio-based awards. And I think that's where a lot of us have been missing it. And maybe if that point is so loud and clear to, maybe even the fans, because I've seen with the power of technology now, we've seen a lot of on, these pages, just because they have numbers, they're able to put out opinions and they're influencing how other people are thinking. Because on the other side, the radio station that is in charge of these awards, they've just been quiet and get to say, these are radio-based awards. So argument sometimes is on, no, this song got 1 million views in 2 weeks. No, the other song got 1 million views in a month. How is this song bigger than? So Sun FM are radio-based awards. Maybe going forward, maybe they could try, because this, okay, well, it's not the only awards we have right now. We have the Ngoma and the Diamond TV awards, but Sun FM, when it comes to music, these are the biggest awards that we have in the country right now. So maybe going forward, they could try to just extend and put in other parameters that could make other songs eligible for nomination or make it to the nomination list.
Well, Single was arguably the biggest song of the year. Arguably the biggest song of the year. Did you know that when you were recording it, that was going to be a huge hit, and you were like, zona balitua tongo, DJ Max chala sa, what was the feeling?
So yeah, I agree with your opinion where you say Single is arguably the biggest song. That's your opinion, and I agree with you. So listen, my work as an artist is to produce music and to produce good music. It's something that with the art now we are being a place to begin to discuss, find ourselves in discussion that put our integrity on the line, because people out there are busy putting out strong, and I understand this is what art can do sometimes. When I was recording Single, just like that song that I've recorded in this country, I've never had intentions of beating anyone or competing. Mine is just to be better than, that is where it comes in. I don't look at Makitu or Shefi or whoever as my way on producing good music and just making sure that I needs my fan base. Speak to people that have not yet really joined the bandwagon of people that support Drimz' music. When we recorded Single, I knew the song was going to make some considerable noise. Obviously, I didn't really think that it was going to be so big to the extent where it would even get me, bookings outside set.
All right, Danny has seen a resurgence of his music, but it's debatable. Some people say that they just haven't been putting out the videos of the shows they've been having, or else they've been having shows for all these years. That's what Peterson said anyway. But Danny has seen a resurgence, from my opinion, that has seen him getting nods, like from us, the Stanbic Music Festival as a headliner. Do you think you're one of those artists that who have that sort of longevity? Are you doing music like that?
I do, really, I do. And it makes me proud to see really people, Peterson, JK, Red Linso. You see how people have been, would scream to see Red Linso on stage today. Back to good music. This is what I always say, that a good song or good music, if Danny and Peterson and JK and, all these legends didn't put out good music during their heyday, people wouldn't have had the reason to go and watch them. So it is very important as an artist to invest your time, your resources in putting out quality music, and also be an artist that is going to fit, or that fits in different profiles. You don't want to be an artist that just fits the trends, and then when the trends are gone,
How hard is it to stay on top? And is being on top a sure thing? I mean, like, if you still have the relevance, you can be on top. And how do you feel about newcomers and how they've come to change the game?
You see, it's quite unpredictable. We in as much as we are able to identify and who we think is going to be, is going to blow, but I think it is unpredictable to really know which artist is going to make bigger waves, to the extent that they begin to even headline these big events. It's quite unpredictable. It's quite unpredictable. It happens even when you're releasing music. There's just certain songs that you feel like in Mbonga Yafuma, obviously it's going to be a big song. I want to be like, yeah, it's a good song, but they continue dancing maybe to your old song. So it's quite unpredictable, really.
Okay, which new artist do you think is causing a lot of you guys, the artists, headaches when it comes to his or her drive?
Now it's cosmopolitan right now. There are different songs that across the country, and it might interest you to know that when it comes to Zambian music, you go to different regions, you find that in that region there's a different song that's number one. You go to Western Province, you find that a Vincenzo song is the one that's making waves. You go to Muchinga, you find that it's a Richie Busy song that is making waves. That like number one. So I have a lot of respect for the new guys, because I think they've really put a lot of us on our toes. Coming from Neo, there's good music coming from Chile One. There's good music coming from Tewe. There's good music coming from Frank Rowe, and I know there's a guy that I'm trying to push. He's from Southern Province. His name is He's a good artist. He's got a song with me, and I feel he's going to be one of the biggest artists to look out for in 2025.
Oh, I'd like to tell you that, I don't know, I forgot to tell you all this time. There's one time I came to your show, right? And I met a girl, and and we're getting married. So I'd like to say thank you very much, Wakawe, to Atasha.
You're welcome. I hope I come to perform at the wedding.
All right, Drimz. Thank you very much for joining us on What's Poppin', and we hope you get the accolades at the end. I know you have a few Kwacha Music Awards, but hey, nice talk to you. And we won't talk about your maps and you in the same sentence ever again. We lie. That's the end of What's Poppin'. Catch you in a bit.
Interesting conversation there Steve had with Drimz. I must ask Steve this question before we get to Digital Digest. Did you just plan on making Drimz upset today?
No. No, I didn't. I mean,
But why then sneak in the Maps questions when you know?
I think he's
doesn't
been
like-
dodging it for quite a long time. The Maps issue.
he tried-
I know the backstory of it. I know.
What's the backstory?
I just can't say it because it was told to me in confidence. But I
Snitch.
know there's a backstory. There's not.
Snitch.
There's bad blood.
Because I noticed how he just swaved it and went straight into Broken Hill Emmy, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, but thank you for mentioning that you actually featured your maps on one of your biggest hits when he was just an upcoming artist. But would love to see the two of them still, break bread, even as they are established artists now.
But there's no official statement saying that there's bad blood, but you can smell it everywhere. Look, I smell what? What do you smell?
Bad blood. Because everywhere you think there is something fishy happening, you smell it. But you felt
look. Bad blood on the carpet.
But you fail to smell it when you're about to be sold a stolen good.
Hey, apa, munapa. Bad blood.
Exactly. So the same way you have that sixth sense to tell you I hope we can learn to smell when an electronic gadget is not authentic.
And
or maybe it's been stolen, or maybe but let's get to know some tips from Makasa on how you can, what you need to look out for when you're buying second-hand electronic appliances or gadgets.
Amasampo is the name and bargaining is the game. My name is Makasa Kaunda, and today on Digital Digest, I'm talking to you about buying second-hand electronics. Like this one. This is my iPhone XR that I bought second-hand. This is my daily driver of laptops. It's a MacBook Pro 2017 that I also bought second-hand. They work pretty well, and I'd like to think I didn't get ripped off. So I'm going to give you some tips on how I went about my purchasing and just general tips that you can use when you are looking for second-hand electronics. The first tip I will give you when you're purchasing a second-hand electronic is to ask for the box, or ask for the serial number or the IMEI number. That is the International Model Equipment Identity Number. This number you can use it to check if this item was stolen or has been reported stolen or is blocked in any region because of any reasons. You can go to a website called imei.info and plug in your IMEI number, and it will give you all the details of your phone, if it was stolen, if it was ever reported stolen, and if it's a genuine phone and all that. So that's one of the tips that you can use. The second tip I'll give you is to physically inspect the product yourself. That's checking the vital spaces like the screen. You have to check the jacks if they have any problems. You have to check the screws. Let me take out my cover here. So you have to check the screws of the phone. If any screws have been taken out or any of that, you have to check around the phone if it has any dents, because that is the biggest giveaway of how the previous owner has taken care of this device. And as well, you check the camera. The camera, if it's broken or if it has any fogging and it just doesn't work as well as you would want it to work, these are the tips that you can do to check if this product that you are getting is genuine or not. After you've passed your physical inspection test, and mind you, if it's not a physical inspection test, ask whatever seller, if you're getting it online, to send you close-up pictures of the device you are about to buy. But other than that, after you've done all that due diligence, now you check the battery health of this device. So you can always find it in the system settings of the device you're buying, and sellers usually take a photo of the battery health as well. If the rule of thumb is if it's typically 90 to 100%, that's fine. If it's 80 to 90% of battery health, that's average. You can get it, but it's a gamble. If it's anything below 80, just leave it, my friend. Leave that device, go buy a new one, or go look for another better device. And if it's an iPhone, don't even think about it, because these things on battery health less than 80%, they will die in 30 minutes with the data on. unless you're trying to move with your data off, which is weird in this day and age, because why? The next step you're going to take is now to make sure all the functions work. Take a picture, see if the camera is to expectation. Sometimes fake phones, the camera quality is a dead giveaway. I once bought a Samsung in a known market in Lusaka, and this Samsung, I tried to take a picture and the photo came out blue. I knew it wasn't original. Just after that, I knew it wasn't original. And the jack and charging port were on the top of the screen instead of the bottom. So it still goes back to my first tip, or my second tip, about physically inspecting this thing. But you also check all the if all the functionalities work. So make a call. Make sure the mouthpiece and earpiece work properly. Send a text. Make sure this text gets delivered. Have a friend close by so that they can work simultaneously with you. You can also do things like play something. Make sure the phone speakers work, and also make sure if the Wi-Fi and the hotspot features work. Those are literally some of the things that give problems with these devices when you buy them. So you have to just go around, make your due diligence, and don't get ripped off. The last tip is research your seller. These devices that I showed you, I bought them off a site called eBay. I'm sure people know it. So I also tried to look at the sellers. I looked at the reviews of these sellers, and I made sure these products I was getting were in good condition, and they've lasted me well over a year now, or 2 years now actually, thinking about it, which is impressive with me because I break a lot of my electronics. But that aside, my clumsiness aside, so you need to research your seller. If you're buying it physically, ask a friend, go to a reputable seller. There are many reputable sellers that will sell you second-hand products that you can take back if there's any issue, or they will sell you second-hand products that they have personally tested themselves. Some sellers advertise. I'm not going to mention your name, but that aside, these are the tips that you can use to not get ripped off. And when it comes to price point as well, just do your research. There are obviously phones that are classics, especially in Zambia, that people buy. Like right now, people are buying a lot of Pixel 4s, Pixel 5s, and Pixel 6s. These range between 3,000 to 6,000. If you pay anything above that, you're probably being ripped off. If it comes to like the Samsung ranges, people are getting things from the S20s to the S20 Ultras to the Notes. These typically all range below 8,000. But you can still do your market research. And if you get to iPhones, I wouldn't recommend you getting any iPhone less than the iPhone XR because of the software updates. They've been discontinued on the older models. So these newer models also typically range from 4,000 to about 9,000 for a baseline 12. So these are sort of the ranges that you can go around when you're looking for a phone or a laptop. For laptops, generally you will spend anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 for a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air. So these are what you can do, especially if you're buying Apple products. Also check the iCloud. If you get a phone that says no Face ID, iCloud locked, it is stolen. Run away. They will catch you and they will lock you up, and they will not listen to your excuses. So do your due diligence. Listen to me, people. But thank you for watching Digital Digest. I hope this information was useful, and all the best on your next second-hand electronic sample purchase.
thank you very much, Makasa Kaunda. I mean, he thinks my body looks absolutely awesome, even though Lombe Chiti, the hater, says that I've got booze. But that's Digital Digest, amasampo, like we were talking about, a few tips on how you can do that. Well, coming up, I've got a few weddings before the end of the year. And
Chilamo is going to be giving us a tutorial guide on how you can get the best bow tie. It could be for your son, it could be for your husband, it could be even for yourself, because I've seen women rock bow ties now and it looks amazing.
Amen.
And so get your notebook out, take down what you will need, and who knows, you might actually have it in your household, or it's something you can buy at a very cheaper price from a store near you.
Yeah,
and so Chilamo comes up as she takes us through.
Do it yourself.
Welcome to the DIY, and on today's episode we have packed our ladies. My ladies, we love you, but today we're concentrating on the gents because they also need something to do with their hands. And on today's episode we are making a bow tie. A bow tie, yes. We are making a bow tie for our gents, okay? And before we start the process, we definitely are going to run you through what you will need. Simple, little items, but will get the job done. So my gents, you will need a pair of scissors, a needle, a safety pin, your thread, your fabric, and your ribbon. Okay, firstly, we're going to get our fabric. Okay, so you know one thing about the DIY, okay, with DIY, sometimes you don't even have to know the exact measurements for something. You just have to estimate by just looking at the fabric and measuring to say, okay, I only need this piece of the fabric or that piece of the fabric to make what I have to make. Okay, because DIY projects, most cases, you're not an expert to make something that you're making. Sometimes you just see it, visualize it, and imagine that you can make it with whatever you have. Okay, and you get the job done. Okay, so for this particular fabric, I didn't measure it at all. I didn't have any tape on me, but I just looked at it and said, oh, this piece of fabric can work with making a bow tie, and I'm going to use it to make a bow tie. I don't have the exact measurements, but yeah, I just estimated with my eyes. Okay, so let's get into the business of making the bow tie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this fabric in half like that. Okay, you're going to fold it in half. So this side is what they call the width, okay, and this is the length. Okay, so you're going to fold the length in half, not the width, because if you fold the width, it's going to give you this. So you're going to fold the length this time, okay, and you fold it like that. So let's put our cotton, rather thread, into our needle so that we can make the stitch on our fabric. Let's do it together. At this point, we have put our thread round the fabric, okay? Remember I mentioned at some point during this tutorial that we need to close up the side that's open, okay? And we have done that. We have made the stitch all the way around, and we have to make our knot at the end of the stitch, just so that our stitch is secured and put in place for our bow tie. So let's make a knot together. So we have created our knot at the end of the stitch that we were doing, okay? Remember, we had to close all the open sides so that we have a closed square-like, thing at the end of the day. So at this point, we're going to turn this fabric inside out, okay? We want the shiny side because there's one thing about shiny material. It just gives you that elegant and beautiful outcome, okay? So let's turn this inside out so that we can have our shiny side out, okay? The elegant side. Before we start the process of turning this inside out, I must say you have to make a little hole in the center, okay, so that it's easier for you to turn the fabric inside out. So we'll make the hole right in the center here. with the scissors. Let's do that together. We have turned our fabric inside out, okay, and we have our shiny side out. At this point, we're going to fold this fabric by simply making tacks, okay, and please follow the procedure of the tacks as I make it. Let's do it together. So we have made our tacks. Remember when I talked about tacks? I'm calling it tacks rather, because it looks like tacks, right? So we have made our tacks, and this is how it looks. It's already taken shape. At this point, we'll get our needle and thread so that we secure these tacks that we have made. So we have sewed our tacks and we have secured them, and now we're going to make a knot so that we secure the thread rather the stitch that we have put through the center of our bow tie. I just love how it looks already. Okay, so now at this point we're going to get our ribbon. Remember, I introduced a ribbon amongst the items that you need to make your bow tie, gents, if you're following. So we'll get our ribbon and tie it round here just to hide the thread that we were passing through, and just to give that neat finished product. Okay, so let's put our ribbon together so that we secure this baby right here. So we have rolled our ribbon around the center of the tacks. And at this point, we're going to cut off the excess ribbon and secure the ribbon with thread, just so that we keep it firm and make sure that the ribbon that we have tied round does not come out. So we have rolled our ribbon onto our bow tie, and we have secured it with our thread and needle, and this is how it looks. Pretty cute. Is it cute? No, it's handsome because it's for a gent. Ladies, it's not for you. But do you know what? Let me tell you a little secret. You can actually make this for yourself and put it on as a clip. Okay, so this DIY, it's for the gents and also the ladies somehow, but it's specifically for the gents, because I just thought some of these things you always have to run around trying to look for a bow tie, run around trying to look for that black bow tie, pink, blue bow tie, because you have to match it with your outfit, or maybe you have to match it with your beige outfit, or maybe you have to match it with the bridal party outfit, because most cases men are wearing bow ties on wedding lineups as groomsmen or best men, and you're out there looking for a bow tie last minute. We can't find the black that we're looking for, we can't find the color we're looking for, so why not just get your fabric from the fabric stores, cut it up to your preferred size and make your bow tie like this? So I don't expect people to be running up and down when they have a last minute moment, or maybe they have a stress moment. Just get your fabric, make your bow tie, and you're good to go. So at this point, we're going to put our safety pin. Remember I introduced a safety pin? That's if you are following. I hope you are, because it was part of the item that I introduced. We'll put the safety pin onto the bow tie. That safety pin is what will help you to secure your bow tie onto your shirt. Okay? So let's put the safety pin together. Safety pin. We have secured our safety pin, we have secured our bow tie, and it's ready to be worn, okay? So you simply just use the same safety pin, secure it on your shirt that you're wearing, and you're done, and you're ready for the day. We have come to the end of the DIY on today's episode, and we were making our bow tie, and it is actually a butterfly bow tie. Did you know that? Anyway, in case you didn't know, now you know. It's called a butterfly bow tie because it looks like a butterfly's wings, okay? So please go and make this on your own, gentlemen, okay? Especially if you're on that wedding lineup where you stress so much trying to look for that bow tie that you go around different towns wondering where you find it. Just simply make it on your own. Get your fabric from these fabric stores and get your satin fabric specific. Get satin, okay? Because like I said, it has the shine, elegant shine, and make that bow tie on your own, okay? Because you gotta do this yourself. It's been a beautiful DIY episode with your girl Chilamo Zulu. Until next time, it's bye.
That bow tie though, oh, it looks so pretty. I love the fact that it's not like the straight ones. Hey, like this one has like a beautiful
Butterfly.
I know, right?
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
like
it has like a little touch and a little something to it. And so, who knows? Maybe Steve can add that. Steve, please.
Who would have thought someone from Kitwe can teach us anything?
Wow. But this is my appeal to you. Ndelombako.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ndelombako, Steve.
I'll never get that away from you. So I should be telling you secrets.
I'm telling you,
I think we can make money from bow ties.
Yes.
I think guys are dressing up sharp. But can I have a bow tie? Hi.
You know what? Let's get to GFG because maybe Steve is having a little too much fun. That's the funny thing. You can't make fun of Steve because he always has a comeback.
Thank you.
Yeah, but let's get to Mayuya The Beautyprenuer as she takes us through a hair tutorial on how you can keep that installation slick, knit, and amazing for even a week.
GFG.
Welcome to GFG segment with me, your host, Mayuya The Beautyprenuer. I don't know if you can feel it, but for me, love is in the hair. Guys, I have beautiful hair pieces from Lala's Hair Products, and they are showing us what they have. On me right now, I have a 32-inch installation. It's a 13x4, and this is one of their hair brands, which is on the Brazilian end. They have Peruvian hair, they have Vietnamese, they have Indian hair too. So you can choose whatever kind of hair that you want, and it comes in different variations. You've got bone straight hair, you've got curly hair, you've got deep wave, you've got kinky curl, and the sort. So make sure to get your hair from Lala's Hair Products because the hair is the crown that you can never take off. Now, talking about hair, I had the privilege of visiting one of Lusaka's top most sought after beauty salons, and this is Uchi's Touch. Uchi's Touch has been offering hair services for some time now, and they have made their mark in the industry. What I actually liked about their service is that it speaks premium, from the environment, the welcome service that I got, and the product that they use. The entire process was amazing, and they actually took time to guide us through a proper professional installation right here on GFG. Let's have a look.
Today on GFG, Mayuya The Beautyprenuer features Uchi's Touch, a hair salon located in Lusaka, Zambia, Kalundu area to be specific. Now, Uchi's Touch is known for its stunning wig installations and luxurious hair services, not forgetting the scenery that makes the hair experience beautiful. Mayuya The Beautyprenuer is at Uchi's Touch for the signature wig installation. Let's join her as she takes on this journey. This hair installation journey begins with proper preparation. The stylist ensures Mayuya's natural hair is securely braided down, keeping it flat for a smooth application. Next, she applies a lightweight adhesive along the hairline, carefully preparing the base for the lace front wig. This step ensures a secure, long-lasting hold. With precision, the stylist lays down the lace wig and positions it on Mayuya's head. She aligns it perfectly, making sure that the lace sits naturally on the skin for a seamless blend. She then proceeds to trim along the hairline to remove the lace, and she customizes the fit, cutting away any excess lace for a flawless, natural look. Now to the perfect finish. The stylist uses a hot comb to smoothen the wig near the roots, ensuring that it lays flat and blends effortlessly with Mayuya's skin. Finally, it is time for styling. Look at that hair. It has so much volume. With a natural finish and a look that turns heads, wow. We must say that Mayuya's transformation is complete, effortlessly beautiful, and expertly delivered.
Wow, I must say that is pretty detailed. And if you're looking at starting a career in hair, that video would actually guide you through. And if you have troubles doing an actual installation and you don't know how to go about it, I know that video would guide you through. Thank you so much, Uchi's Touch, for that very insightful and detailed hair tutorial. So I'm also going to go a little bit further than just an installation, and I'm going to give you guys information on how to take care of your install at home. This is when you go to sleep and when you're going to take your shower in the morning. Pretty much an installation can last you about 2 weeks, depending on how you care for it. However, sometimes that period can be shortened. Why am I saying that? Because there's so many factors that come into play when it comes to maintaining your installation. First things first, it could be because of steam in the shower or how you sleep and friction on the bed, right? So these are like my very few tools that I actually use to maintain my installation. First up, we have this elastic band, and I just use this elastic band to wrap the front part of my hair and keep it protected, okay? The next item that I use is a satin bonnet, and this one is from Lala's Hair Products. I love this bonnet because it tucks all my hair inside and I can go to sleep well. You can use a satin scarf if you don't have an elastic band. It also works amazingly well. So it's just up to you and what makes you feel comfortable, but you need to understand that you don't need to tie it so tight because you're going to sleep and you don't want it to affect the blood circulation. So even just, you know, something that's loose will still work. Even something like that, you know, not so tight. But what you want is just to keep the lace in place. If I'm going to take a shower, I like to use this cap. What I like about this cap is the inside is made of plastic, meaning should water seep through, I don't have to worry about it making my hair wet. So guys, these are just very simple things you can do on your own at home in order to enhance or ensure that your installation lasts a lot longer. Remember to follow Lala's hair products and get yourself an amazing hair unit. And of course, go to Uchi's Touch for an amazing installation. They're located in the heart of Lusaka in Kalundu area. Of course, follow Luna Lifestyle TV on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Until then, it's your girl Mayuya The Beautyprenuer, and I'm out. Bye.
All right, that is our Luna today for today, and I hope you've learned a few things. And if you've got that child that's roaming around your house looking like young Uzi or whatever these new rappers are, you probably won't know because I hardly know any of them, and you don't know what it is. If their whole purpose in life in their songs talking about drugs and suicide, maybe you need to pay attention to a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of rappers that have died from overdoses. There's one time I was in a room, right? And that's the first time I saw people taking codeine. And these were young people. I was there for a meeting with somebody, and I think they just associated with the wrong crowd. So I sat there and I saw these kids like go listen to music, and they were listening to this bubblegum mumble rap. And I couldn't understand what the fascination was, but they were like going at it, and then they took their what they call lean, and then they just became zombies while the music was playing in the background.
And they were like,
dude, these were young. I wanted to mind my own business because I was there for a meeting, and I mean, whatever people's lifestyles are, I mean, whatever, but
when a child is transitioning, especially during the adolescent stage,
I mean, they were above 18.
They still need some guidance. They still need some guidance. That's why when I talked about the WAP, you were like, what's the WAP? It's a song that has sexual lyrics. And
it's wet. Okay.
Thank you. You can't say it here, but pay attention to what your children are listening to, so that when they start getting obsessed with what they shouldn't be obsessed with, you help them or get them help. But maybe not just children, friends, sisters. Please, let's help them. Let us help them.
Let's not even go too far. You know, every time you hear somebody is listening to reggae music, you know that they do what? Not bath. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. They don't bath. I'm just kidding.
No, I just know they feel irate.
They feel irate. Yeah. So if your kid is listening to a lot of Bob Marley and you're going, oh, I don't want, just know the blunt is being passed around.
Pass with us, please.
All right. Thanks for joining us on Luna Today. I hope you have a fantastic day. But you know, Luna Today is not just there for you to watch and let go of. Share it with your friends. So if you're on your Instagram, if you're on your TikTok, if you're on your Facebook, let us know in the comments, because Luna Lifestyle TV is everywhere.
And do join us every other moment that we bring you Luna Today, because you have so much you can learn from. This is Luna Lifestyle TV. My name is Lombe Chiti.
And my name is Steve, aka So Sick. Don't come and see me at my house without calling. Bye.